Hi, I'm Joel Bloom, president of New Jersey Institute of Technology. At NJIT, we believe that not only our students, but all citizens need to be informed about the issues facing higher education. As New Jersey's Science and Technology University, NJIT is proud to support the important programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology, RWJ Barnabas Health, the Northward Center, PSE&G, committed to providing safe, reliable energy now and in the future, the Russell Berry Foundation, making a difference, and by TD Bank. Promotional support provided by NJ.com, small news, big news, true Jersey. And by New Jersey Family Magazine and NJFamily.com.
This is One-on-One. I'm an equal American just like you are.
The jobs of tomorrow are not the jobs of yesterday.
Look at this. You got this?
Here it is, man. Look at that.
Life without dance is boring.
I don't care how good you are or how good you think you are, there is always something to learn.
Do you enjoy talking politics?
No.
People call me because they feel nobody's paying attention.
Our culture, I don't think, has ever been tested the way it's being tested right now.
Such a good question. High five.
We welcome once again Robert Budsock, who is president and CEO of an organization called Integrity House. For those who do not know, Bob, what is Integrity House and why does it matter?
So Integrity House has been operating in Newark, New Jersey since 1968. We also have facilities throughout northern New Jersey. Integrity House, our mission is to provide opportunities for individuals to reclaim their lives. So our primary purpose is to work on individuals who are battling addiction, and we look at providing the addiction treatment and then all of the other services that are critical for an individual to get back on their feet. So what happens is that when someone's impacted by addiction, there's a breakdown in many areas of their lives. So they neglect their physical health, their mental health, even something as basic as dental care. In addition to that, many of the folks that we work with, they either dropped out of high school or maybe they dropped out of college. They do not have a good work history. So what we look to do at Integrity House is, yes, we provide the addiction treatment, but in addition to the addiction treatment, we take a look at all those other areas of their lives. And we ensure that they're getting the medical treatment, mental health treatment, dental treatment, and also the educational, vocational skills that they need to really put their lives back together again.
Robert, you and I were talking right before we got on the air. There are two issues I want to talk about here.
Yeah.
One is the stigma, the social stigma, and to the degree to which it's still there around addiction. But the other piece is, in the African-American community, there's research from the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, that talks specifically about an increase, a significant increase. Is it just in opioid addiction?
No. Our inner city communities with a high minority population continues to get hit hard by the opiate epidemic and also the many other issues that these communities have been dealing with for many years. Here in the city of Newark, yes, we have an opiate epidemic. And a lot of the folks that are from the city of Newark are impacted by that epidemic. But you also have the epidemic of cocaine, of alcohol, and then also the synthetics. When I say synthetics, you hear a lot about ecstasy.
Right.
But there's also other synthetics that, at one time they were being sold at gas stations and bodegas. They're called like K2 and Spice. It's like a synthetic marijuana that has really, devastating impact on the individuals that use it. Frequently, they end up in our emergency rooms, and it's just not a it's not a pretty picture.
Bob, what is Hope One in Newark, and why does it matter?
Okay. So Hope One Newark was actually it's a concept that came from the mayor, from Ras Baraka. And it's a collaboration. It's modeled after a project out in Morris County. And out in Morris County, they have a Hope One van, and Sheriff Gannon out in Morris County actually is the person that came up with the initial concept. Now it's been adopted by Ross Baraka. So what it is, it's taking services out into the community. So Integrity is part of a collaboration along with the City of Newark, the Department of Health, Essex County, and Morris County Mental Health Association.
Right. Is there corporate support here?
For Hope One, there is not direct corporate support for that project. So what happens is that the police department works to do some hot spotting. So they identify the areas of the community where there has been a lot of maybe overdose calls from the EMTs, maybe a lot of arrests for selling drugs. And what will happen is that they've taken an old, like, tactical van that's been used by the police department, and together with Integrity House and the police department and the City of Newark Department of Health, we go and we set up shop for a full day at these hot spots, and we talk to the members of the community. We make them aware of what services are available.
But let me do this in the interest of time. There's a lot that's being done.
Yeah.
The question I asked you before we got on the air, to what degree are we making real progress on the opioid crisis?
Yeah. So we are making progress. And
how do you define that?
Well, I'll define that as the CDC put out a report stating that overdose deaths decreased by 5% for the year 2018. So when I think about the opioid crisis, is that the reason that it's such a big crisis is because people are dying from the use of the drugs. So we've had addiction issues forever, for hundreds of years. And, you know, as far as Integrity House is concerned, we've been helping people for the past 50 years. And the big game changer over the past 10 years is the overdose deaths.
Right.
So the overdose deaths are, you know, there's a signal that they're starting to slow down.
Where's your corporate money come from? Because we spend a lot of time raising money from corporations and foundations. You are a not-for-profit.
That's correct.
Dollars come from?
That from grants through the state government, federal government, also additional funding through the state government, and then support from foundations such as the Horizon Foundation and other large foundations.
Actually, they're the ones that told us about the work that you guys are doing.
Yeah.
1968.
Yeah.
David Carr started?
Dave Kerr started Integrity House back in 1968.
Wow. Yeah. Soon after the rebellion in the city of Newark. Before I let you go, we got a few seconds left here. How hopeful are you that things will continue to move in the right direction as it relates to this opioid crisis? Yeah.
So I'm hopeful as long as we continue to get Narcan in the hands of family members, of treatment staff, of everyone who comes in contact with someone that's using heroin, that the death rates will continue to decrease. However, keep in mind that Narcan is not treatment, and all it does is keep a person alive long enough to seek treatment and be connected to services.
But Narcan's a key for now.
Narcan is the key to slowing the opioid overdose deaths. But once we slow the deaths, what we need to do is we need to wrap our arms around people, and we need to provide intensive, rigorous, long-term treatment to ensure that they sustain their sobriety.
Robert, thank you. Keep doing what you're doing at Integrity House. We appreciate it.
To watch more One-on-One with Steve Adubato, find us online and follow us on social media.
We're now joined by Tim Sullivan, CEO, New Jersey Economic Development Authority, and Jose Lozano, President and CEO of Choose New Jersey. Gentlemen, good to see you.
Great seeing you. Thanks so much for having us.
Now, as we do this program, it's the beginning of October. Just back from India.
India.
Describe the trip.
6 days, 7 cities, over 50 meetings, and over 1,000 engagements with companies.
And the governor was right there?
Governor was there with a full supportive delegation.
Yeah. Describe the goal of something like this.
Well, the goals I think were several. It was primarily an economic development mission. You know, New Jersey is one of the biggest recipients of foreign direct investment from Indian companies already, and we want to grow that as much as we can. New Jersey and India have long-standing cultural ties and people-to-people relationships. That is an enormous asset in trying to build a relationship with an economy that's as big and as growing as fast as India. So this was about both short-term, getting some jobs announced right here in New Jersey, but also building a long-term relationship with India.
Let's talk about some of these jobs.
Yeah.
How many are we talking about?
Over 1,200 jobs.
Okay,
Yeah.
Jose, we've known each other a long time. Potential jobs, real jobs, what are we talking about?
These are real jobs that CEOs looked at the governor and looked at us and said, we're going to commit to expanding our companies and our footprint in New Jersey. It's a great place that we're doing business there. We're really successful, and we're ready to expand. And so they made the commitments, and within 3 companies alone, we over 1,200 jobs.
Are there certain types?
That's just the immediate jobs. I think
Those are
long term,
immediate.
over the next year, I think the governor and our team collectively believe, we'll probably double or triple that
Yep,
number
I agree.
over time.
Are there certain types of companies?
Yeah, mostly in the IT and the professional services section of the House.
Yeah.
What makes it interesting, we've had so many conversations with those who have argued, New Jersey's not attractive. It's the business climate. The economics don't work. The taxes are too high. Regulation. And you come back and you tell me about these jobs. By the way, before you even answer, let's just say that Choose New Jersey and the EDA working with us on an innovation series and being very supportive of that. So go ahead. Make the case, because some others see it differently.
This is a really, really easy narrative. It's a great place to not only raise a family, it's a great place for you to establish a business. You have easy access to New Jersey is a global gateway into all of North America. And these companies who provide professional services and IT support see the potential of not only being in New Jersey, but having great access to all their clients.
And they're not asking about taxes. They're not asking about regulation. Come on.
No.
The main focus of our conversation was really about talent.
What do you mean?
Can they get the workforce that they need to fill the jobs that they want to hire for here
How
in
do
New
we
Jersey?
rate that way, Tim?
Toward the very top of the pack, if not number one. Having the number one public school system in America matters a lot. Having a great network of higher education institutions matters a lot. Having things like the number one concentration of scientists and engineers in our economy anywhere in the world per square mile is an enormously important selling point when you're talking about companies that are in the innovation and sort of talent-driven spaces.
We had Regina Gia check our website. She was on recently, and here's what she said. Okay. Well, certainly, we're talking about. I asked her about what makes the state attractive or not. She said, well, certainly the tax burden. We're at the bottom. You were just talking about the top. By the way, it was, I think, Education Week that selected our public schools as the best in the nation.
Number one.
But here's what Regina Gia said. Former chief of staff, in fact, to Governor Chris Christie, heads the organization called Help Me on the Garden State Initiative. We're at the bottom, close to the bottom, on every list. Cost of running a business, cost of living, property taxes, you name it. So the cost of operating here is falling behind other states.
Look, yes, it is expensive to do business here. Yes, it's expensive. The taxes are expensive, but you get what you pay for. Being the number one school districts in the world, in the country, doesn't come cheap. There's a cost associated. We have roads and infrastructure that we're investing in. We move people and products better than anyone else in the country, and with all of that comes with a cost.
Yeah. And I think the argument is that Governor Murphy inherited a stagnant economy. I think we'd agree with that. We've got an economic development plan that was released a little more than a year ago that's got a robust series of set of initiatives to grow the economy, particularly the innovation-centric parts of the economy, because we're not seeing fast enough job growth and fast enough wage growth that we'd like to see to really support.
You're not satisfied with it?
Absolutely not. No. We got a lot of work to do. We're pleased that unemployment's at a record low. We're pleased that more people are working in New Jersey today than at any point since they've started keeping statistics. That being said, we've got a lot of work to do.
So let's do this. It's interesting. The other part of this, I'm fascinated. You talk about these jobs. 1,200 confident?
Yeah, about 12. Oh, yeah, very confident.
And potentially more.
On the lower side. That's on the low side.
What role did tax incentives or credits play in that, Mr. Sullivan?
Zero. Unequivocally zero.
Hold on.
3 companies made commitments to add 1,250 jobs. No tax incentives.
Does it not even come up?
In those conversations, it didn't. I would say.
They don't ask what's the deal. How do you? They sweeten this deal for us.
No. So we were. We had, as Jose said, we probably between one-on-one meetings and group settings, we probably were with several hundred, if not 1,000 companies. The number of times with me that the tax incentive conversation came up, a handful, less than a handful, something like that. The further away you get from America and from New Jersey, the more the fundamentals of New Jersey stand out so brightly. To be in the heart of the Northeast Corridor, that's 20% of the U.S. GDP. We sit literally geographically in the middle of it, connected by railroad and other infrastructure to that part of the economy. The talent pool that we have, those are the fundamentals that people really care about first and foremost.
Bring it closer to home. Someone watching says, "Oh, great, that's Indian companies in India coming here, new jobs." What does it mean? What could it mean? Should it mean for the citizens of this state?
Number one, these are jobs that are going to be here in New Jersey, right? They're going to be hiring local folks, local talents, and growing the state's economy right here, right at home.
And New Jersey's home to several hundred international companies that make New Jersey their U.S. or their North American headquarters. They employ a ton of people in New Jersey. This is more international investment into New Jersey is a good thing for New Jersey.
When you're there, it's interesting. You're saying when you move away, they don't ask about some of the closer to home issues, but they do have concerns, right? Is workforce at the top?
For international companies, yeah, talent and workforce is always the #1 topic of discussion.
Yep.
Who do we have? What do we have access to?
Okay, the other part I'm curious about. By the way, who financed this?
Choose New Jersey is a not-for-profit organization that raised funds, and we supported the mission. But individuals who participated and attended with us on the delegation paid their own way as well.
That being said, what role directly did Governor Murphy, and by the way, those of you wondering, we're definitely going to have Governor Murphy on. He will speak for himself, not just about his economic plan and the innovation initiative, which we're very much committed to, but a whole range of other issues. Talk about the governor's role in this.
Governor likes to refer to himself as the head of sales for the state, and that was on
the head of sales.
Head of sales, and that was on full display all throughout India. He was, back to back meetings, either in making the pitch in group settings or in one-on-one sessions with CEOs. He was. I've never seen anything quite like it, to have a chief executive making the case that strongly and with that much energy, meeting after meeting after meeting. And it was really important. These are global decision makers and global business leaders who employ, in some cases, several 100,000 people.
Could go anywhere, Tim?
Could go anywhere. And they wanted to look the chief executive, they wanted to look the governor in the eye, the person who's responsible for the state's future, and say, what's going on in New Jersey? Tell us what's going on there before we make this big decision.
Was the First Lady involved as well?
Absolutely. And she too had her own schedule and participated with her own engagements, mostly with universities and colleges, but had an opportunity to talk about engagement, inclusiveness.
I'm sorry for interrupting, Jose. In the time we have left, some of the academic institutions that we work with very closely, some of them said that they were on this trip. Go ahead.
We had Rutgers, Princeton, Jersey City University, Rowan, and NJIT. So
Why?
we have 5.
What do they have to do with it?
The transatlantic relationships, not only with businesses and companies and other peer universities, sharing research, sharing resources. NJIT is going to be great. NJIT is going to be hosting...
New Jersey Institute of Technology around the corner.
New Jersey Institute of Technology right here in Newark is going to be hosting about a dozen or so startup companies.
They are.
And Steve,
follow up on the higher ed end.
Yeah, the secret sauce of the innovation economy is partnerships between higher education and the real economy. Having representatives of 5 of our great institutions with us really made that very tangible when we were on this trip. We would say, these are the folks we're working with and these are the relationships we can introduce you to if you're going to come to New Jersey and expand or build your business. It made a big difference. Having Princeton, the #1 ranked university in America, in New Jersey, what an amazing calling card to go with the #1 school system in America.
Jose and Tim, I want to thank you for joining us, providing some perspective. People may have read about this trip to India, but getting a better sense. By the way, I'm sure there's a lot of pre-planning going on.
Oh, yeah, it was about a year in the works.
Have you recovered yet?
Seriously?
I'm just starting to get some good sleep right now.
Okay. Gentlemen, thank you.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. Welcome to the Voice Summit here at NJIT in Newark, New Jersey. It's a big deal. We were here last year. It's even bigger this year. More people, more presentations, more forums. Fascinating group of people. This is the largest Voice Summit in the world, not just in the country, but in the world. We're joined by Tom Wisniewski, co-founder and managing partner of an entity called Newark Venture Partners, which is
a venture capital fund based here in Newark.
$50 million up front.
Yes, so we raised the fund about 3 years ago. The idea was to try and bring venture capital to Newark, to try and be part of a revival of the tech ecosystem here. So we invest from $100,000 up to $1 million in B2B technology companies, bring them here to Newark.
Business to business.
Business to business is the focus. So that would be using a technology to help one of the many businesses that are out there. And we bring them to Newark. Some of them choose to stay and set up shop here. We've got 31 of the 65 companies we've invested in have a presence here, and 15 of those have decided to make their headquarters in Newark. The idea is to use the venture capital, help those companies grow and succeed, and some of them will lay down roots here and help us create that tech ecosystem.
We're talking jobs. We're talking economic activity. We're talking about more taxes being paid. We're not going to turn this into a commercial, but for those that have succeeded and are succeeding, It's a big impact.
It's real. It is real. I think that there's the direct impact we can have, the jobs that we can create. There's a company we invested in called One Huddle that came here with two
What is
people.
it? One
Huddle.
What do they do?
What do they do? They provide, they do the gamification of training. So they replace the boring training you would get out of a binder with flash games, so like kind of trivia games. And they've been enormously successful. It's far more effective than typical training. And they've grown to about 20 people now. So there's 20 people from the organization. That's over the last 3 years.
Where are they
and they're
based?
going to continue to grow. Yeah, great business, super
where
success. They're actually in our space in the Audible building.
Right in Newark.
Yes, right in Newark, yeah.
By the way, people don't realize Audible is right here in Newark. Great operation. Don and the team are doing a great job there.
Yes.
By the way, let's disclose, because there's some crossover here, some of the original investors, if you will, the anchor investors to the Newark Venture Fund are many of the supporters of ours. So I just want to disclose this. It's Prudential, still corporate headquarters here in Newark, Horizon Blue Cross and Blue Shield, RWJ Barnabas Health, TD Bank, Fidelco, and the Economic Development Authority in the state?
Yes.
Got that right?
Yeah.
You just told me before we got in here there's a second fund. What do you mean by that?
Well, there's been such a success with what we're doing. We've been able to find 65 companies to invest in. We can see dramatic success in how they're growing, and they've attracted additional capital. For those 65 companies, they've gone on to raise $235 million. 70% of them have raised money, and that's a fantastic sign. So it's really working. So in order to double down on that, we're raising an additional fund. So we've got commitments from Audible and Prudential and the large investors. And in the latter half of the year, we'll be going out to talk to additional corporations, tell them the tale that's evolved here and how much success to be, and get them interested.
What's in it for them?
Yeah, it's a great question because it really is a win-win. If you're a large corporation, say like Dun & Bradstreet, which is in the area, you've been a technology company forever, but you don't have that excitement. Your people don't have that connection to true kind of startup innovation. They struggle to do that internally. They see us as a window into doing that, to allow us to bring startup ideas to them, have their people interact with that, and they gain something from that. We're able to find startups that are relevant to their company. They can end up hiring them, working with them. Their people get a chance to experience this, and they're also giving back to Newark. And I think that you mentioned all those companies and how many of them are involved here at the Voice Conference. That's not a surprise. This is a group of companies that really wants to do big things outside of their own business to really help Newark.
You know, it's so interesting because many of those companies and others that support us in public broadcasting, people would ask, well, what's in it for them? Well, there's brand identification, but the biggest thing for real, when you really come down to it, is they believe in informing, educating, and engaging those we serve every day. I don't know if it helps their bottom line. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but that's not the point. But with you guys, is it about helping their bottom line?
It's both.
Or about doing the right thing?
I think the idea
is it philanthropic?
Yeah, not in any way, shape, and form.
Really?
I think a way we look at it, I'm a market-based guy, this is just a win-win. If you think about venture capital, right?
Define venture capital for those. It's like getting money to start something you couldn't otherwise start?
Yeah, venture capital is investing in usually technology companies that have potential to explode, to grow. Right. You're looking for the next Google, for instance, or Snapchat, or lots of other companies that are out there. So we're looking to catch those companies very early in their cycle.
And by the way, people mention Snapchat or Twitter or Google or whatever. They all went out and got venture capital.
Yes, all venture capital.
People forget that part.
Yeah, they were all venture capital backed.
People think they started where they are.
Yeah. And you were asking about the impact, and you're surprised to see that we don't see ourselves as a philanthropic organization. We do see ourselves as a social impact.
What's the difference between social impact and philanthropy?
Well, philanthropy is a traditional model of where you're giving away money to a cause, investing in them that way. That money goes out there, hopefully does some good. Social impact investing is putting money into an enterprise that's going to go out and generate good, but it can be sustainable. It runs like a business. It has to survive.
It has a business model, not a philanthropic model?
It has a business model. Its goal is not to make money per se, but its goal is to be sustainable, right? Maybe even return money. So if you think about our fund, right, these corporations are in it for all those good reasons, but they're putting capital, $5 million, $10 million in this. We're going to be giving that back to them with a return.
That's interesting.
Right? So the idea is that if you do venture capital, what does venture capital do? It finds these great companies, exciting companies, and to grow. Right? That is an economic engine. right?
Yeah.
That naturally, organically does economic good. For every tech job there is, what people have seen is there's 5 additional service jobs. As we're out there in the world of media, we're getting Newark on the map, and we're taking the whole business environment here and trying to create a better impression of what's going on.
Tom, let me ask you this. You just talked about putting Newark on the map. What does it mean to have the Voice Summit be here at NJIT in Newark, the heart of Newark, New Jersey once again? What does it mean?
I think it's fantastic, great, because look, I'm pro Newark. This is my job, this is my life, this is dedicated, so I love to see this happen. I actually spoke with Pete before he...
Pete Erickson.
Pete Erickson,
who organized the event.
Organizing event, the founder of Modev, before he made the choice last year to bring it here, and we were part of a group of people that said, look, this is great, you want to do it here? We will help you make it happen.
You were trying to convince them.
Yeah, I was going to convince them. Look, we've got this. We've got this technology circle, because I had to bring together all these companies.
They could have been in Philly. They could have been in Brooklyn. They could have been a lot of other places. They chose here.
They chose here. He saw an engaged community. Obviously, all those great things about Newark geographically being near New York and the train lines and the airports, that all helps. But he also saw 2 universities dedicated to doing things here and were willing to help. This same group of corporations that you mentioned, all willing to lean in and make sure this succeeded. Right? And he finds us as a venture capital hub. We're already investors in 5 or 6 voice companies.
Right.
We know voice. We're doing that. So we were, promoted.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, I really think it is.
And it is a big deal, folks. And that's why we are here. That's why you should know more about it. Go on our website. It's part of a series we're doing on the future of innovation and a whole range of other issues connected to it. And you can't. How can you do innovation and not talk about voice technology, which is why we're here? Tom Wisniewski is co-founder and managing partner of a very interesting entity called Newark Venture Partners. Thanks for joining us, Tom. Appreciate it.
Great.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, NJIT, RWJ Barnabas Health, the Northward Center, PSC&G, the Russell Berry Foundation, and by TD Bank. Promotional support provided by NJ.com and by New Jersey Family Magazine and NJFamily.com. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
I think at NJIT there are a lot of smart students.
I came to NJIT for mechanical engineering because with in-state, it's one of probably the top 3 schools for engineering.
It sort of creates a friendly competition where you can learn from them.
It's a great academic school.
I feel I'm being challenged, but at the same time, I love the classes I'm taking.
The atmosphere of being here is like being at an upstart company. It's that same kind of drive, that same kind of passion.